What's up, everybody? My name's Thomas. Welcome to World Animal Foundation. Today we're going to talk about my two favorite collars, the Halo 3 and the SpotOn. I'm going to do a comparison, going to work over their performance, cover the setup, cover their overall accuracy, some of the features that both of them have. Just do a genuine breakdown of the two different collars based on a year of usage. I've had these collars for quite some time now, and I've got a lot of experience with both of them, including previous iterations of them as well. So I think it's a good time to make a comparison with these and see which one comes out on top. So if you're interested in the SpotOn and the Halo 3, I urge you to check out the video. Getting started with both of these collars is relatively straightforward. It doesn't matter what you buy today. Everything comes with an app, and these collars are no different. They come with their respective apps, and the apps are easy to set up. They make setting up the collars simpler, which of course is fine. So don't trust me, I'm not making fun of apps that go with things, but the necessity of an app with these collars is, it is what it is. You got to have it. So if you want to track your animals and you want to create these containment systems, then obviously you have to have the app. It makes everything simpler. Setup is a breeze for both collars. Now the SpotOn, straight up out of the box, is ready to go. You can set up a GPS border out there or an invisible fence right there in your backyard, and you're ready to go. No subscription is required whatsoever. The Halo is a little bit different. You do have to have a subscription if you want to set up a barrier outside. However, I will walk you through both systems as far as their setups and what you're going to need to get started, regardless of which one you pick. In terms of a physical comparison, the SpotOn has the edge and durable components that go into this, and because of how these collars are designed. So the SpotOn designs their collar so the weight keeps the collar turned down, keeps the antenna turned up to the sky, which is where you want it to be. So to me, it's not only an extremely durable collar, it's also very well made in accordance to what it is supposed to do. That antenna makes a huge difference, and it definitely contributes to its overall accuracy. The Halo is a little bit lighter. It's also a sturdy collar, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not going to be breaking this anytime soon, and over a year of use, neither of my dogs has broken it. The one thing that improves the Halo 3's durability is this thick Velcro sleeve that goes over the top of it. You can actually remove this piece. Sometimes I do because it makes it a little difficult to access the ports sometimes when it slides around. But it's very thick Velcro material, and it helps protect the collar from damage over time, and it's done a pretty good job, I have to say. Plus, I like the fact that they've got these two big screw-on plastic caps on the back, so if you're not using the static shock probes, you can go ahead and cover them up, and then you don't have to worry about it or anything. So it's definitely lighter, and its durability is protected by this extra Velcro. And the SpotOn is more durable to begin with, but it has a better design feature so that the GPS signal is more accurate overall, thanks to the way that antenna stays pointed straight upwards on top of the dog's neck. Now, both of these collars feature a virtual fence setup. In fact, it is the driving component with which people want these collars is this virtual fence creation, but they don't exactly operate the same way. The SpotOn allows a lot more flexibility. You can build unlimited fences, you can overlap your fences, you can have a ton of extra fence posts in there. There's virtually no limitations. I mean, there are limitations, but you'd have to get into absurd levels of fence posts to overcome those limitations. The Halo, on the other hand, limits you according to the tier of the subscription you're on. So like if you're like me on the bronze tier, then you only have 20 fence posts, which is more than enough for me. I live on half a square acre of property, and if I can't, cover that half a square acre of property by building a rectangle with fewer than 20 posts, then I'm in trouble anyway. But for people with really, really large properties or strange shaped properties that have a bunch of elbows and curves and stuff going on, that may become problematic because you're limited on those fence posts. I think that when it comes to really large properties, however, the SpotOn again shines over the Halo because you can build the SpotOn well over up to 1,000 square acres of property. That is quite extensive, and you don't have to pay for a subscription to do it. I think that's hugely important. Not only can you do that, but you can do it even if you don't have a cell signal or any other kind of signal out there except for the GPS, because SpotOn has an off-grid mode. which allows you to build a single fence as large as you need it to be, or as large as that 1,000 acres without any signal whatsoever, and it will still function just like a collar that's got plenty of cell signal. Now, if you've seen any of my previous videos, then you know that I have a sort of bias for the SpotOn, mostly because it has always performed very well, and it has never embarrassed me in any of my testing reviews, because if you go back and watch some of those videos, you'll also know that SpotOn or Halo does not cut me a check. If there's something wrong with their collars, I'm going to point it out. If I have garbage in my hands, I will tell you that I have garbage in my hands. I won't lie to you and tell you that it's something perfect and amazing when it's not. And the SpotOn has withstood just about every test that I've put it through outside with flying colors. Now, there are occasions when it's 4 or 5 feet off, but I attribute those to fence drift, which is common across all smart collars with invisible fences using GPS. That's completely natural. The Halo, on the other hand, is a little more inconsistent, especially inside in deep woods areas with heavy tree canopy and lots of buildings, and there's a reason behind that. And it's the way SpotOn designs its GPS and the way its antenna is located. SpotOn did do something that was a step. Now, I'm sure that you've probably heard the back and forth between these two competing companies, you know, taking digs at each other and whatnot, and that's fine, that's normal, I get it. That came into SpotOn and independently verified the results and the accuracy of the SpotOn collar. They determined that the SpotOn is 7 times more accurate than other smart collars on the market. That includes the Halo, and 6 times more accurate when it comes to the consistency of its boundary warnings. So that, to me, also is a huge point in SpotOn's favor, because they actually took that step to have a third party that's independent and unbiased come in and make those calculations and those tests. And when I actually put the SpotOn into use outside, what Sprint found is verified each time I do it. The SpotOn has been the most reliable smart collar for me over time, over any other collar. And I think the biggest hang up with the SpotOn for most people is probably its price, which is sitting at, you know, $999 on a bad day. Sometimes they have discounts and whatnot, but there you have it. All right, both of these collars have advanced modes, or extra features, I guess you could call them. Again, the SpotOn stands out here because it has a lot of extra ones that not only are they extra, but they have a high degree of usability. One of which is forest mode, which maintains the GPS accuracy that the SpotOn is known for, even in a heavy tree canopy. Now, my backyard is nothing but trees, except for a small wide open gap as soon as you step out the door. But even out amongst those trees out there, these are big oak trees here in Florida, the SpotOn does just fine. Now, the Halo hangs up every now and then. It can be a little more finicky, I guess is the best word for it. SpotOn also offers the off-grid mode, which I mentioned earlier. You get out there where you don't have any signal whatsoever, you can still build a single fence as long as you put it in off-grid mode. The SpotOn also has customizable home zones. Keep out zones. You can move these things around, adjust them, you know, make different sizes of them, whatever. There are rules inside the system, like you can't, you know, have certain, your home zone can't overlap your existing invisible fence stuff. But for the most part, it's highly customizable, highly flexible. You can move these things around as much as you want to. The Halo does have something that I think is very unique, and it's called the beacon. Now, they offer 4 different types of these, and one of them comes with the collar. And what these beacons are is basically little keep-out zones that will fit on a keychain. Now, you can activate one of these and turn it and set it down anywhere in the house, and it creates a spherical invisible barrier that the dog cannot cross without the collar going off and upsetting them. Or you can switch it to deactivate your collar mode, which, if your dog passes into the area, it will automatically deactivate their collar. Now, when I first got the Halo, I had a lot of problems with my dogs coming inside because I got a wide open sliding glass. And so the Halo still assumed my dog was outside even when he came inside, because the signal was still strong through that window. So what I did was set one of these beacons up on top of the window curtain frame, and it would deactivate his collar when he came in. And of course, once he passed out of the sphere, and he was inside the house, the GPS signal started to degrade, which let the Halo know that he was no longer outside. So it came in very useful for that. They also have waterproof versions of these that you can stick around outside. Like if you got a shed you don't want your dog to go in, you could, put one in there. And since it's waterproof, you can even leave it outside somewhere. Like I've got a chicken coop. If you want to keep your dogs out of your chicken coop or something, you could throw one of these out there on your chicken coop, and it will work as effectively as an invisible fence so long as the little watch battery inside of it lasts. Unfortunately, if you want more of these or you want different types of these, you have to purchase them separately. Now, one of the most important aspects about these collars, both of them, that most people don't realize until after they've purchased the collar, is that there has to be a degree of training involved. You have to teach your dog how to react to the collar. If your dog goes out there and crosses a barrier, he don't know what he's done. As far as he or she is concerned, their neck is vibrating and there's a noise blasting off in their ears. They don't know why. So you still have to teach them that, hey, when the collar does A, you do B. Okay, and that works for both of these collars. The thing is the SpotOn was more consistent and reliable when it issues the corrections to my dogs, that it made it easier for me to train my dogs. So if you've got 500 square acres of property and you've got a Halo on your dog, sure, it will be a little inconsistent, maybe by 20 to 25 feet sometimes. However, it will still be enough to alert your dog. But I would say that if you want more confidence in the training aspect that you have to do early on, then the SpotOn collar is far more reliable, far more accurate, far more consistent than the Halo 3 collar. And it will be much easier to train your dog when you can actually, when the dog touches the barrier that isn't there, the collar goes off, you can, urge your dog to come back this direction and give them a treat. Now, both the Halo and the SpotOn feature are designed so that if your dog crosses the barrier the wrong way, the collar goes off and your dog turns back the right way and starts moving back, both collars will stop issuing corrections. That's to help teach the dog that, it's going back in the right direction, which is good. But like I said, you still need to do training, and if you want a more consistent collar in that training aspect that you have to take part in, then you want the SpotOn. Now, as far as testing these special zones, I've done a lot of this, and if you want to check out any of my previous testing on either of these collars, I've got a wealth of videos in the past that you can go back and check out where I compare them directly with actual physical testing and alone as reviews, and 100-day reviews and 1-year reviews. So as far as the home zones and the keep out zones with the SpotOn, they've been very reliable for me. Obviously, this is my home zone. My backyard is literally 10 feet from my right leg here to go outside. When my dogs come inside, the collar does not go off because it's not supposed to go off. Now, what helps these collars do that is the degradation in GPS signal. Once you come inside, the signal loses strength, obviously, because it's trying to pass through your roof, and it can't do that as easily as it can outside. So both collars function that way. The Halo is a little more inconsistent even with the beacon, and the problem with the beacon and the Halo is you're using Bluetooth. Bluetooth, even with the level of Bluetooth technology they have today, is notoriously easy to interrupt. And sometimes that happens. You got a lot going on. If you got somebody standing in between your dog and the beacon, it can interrupt the Bluetooth. Bluetooth is just not as reliable as some of your other signals in the house, especially 2.4 and 5.0 gigahertz Wi-Fi, or some of the higher, the newer Wi-Fi stuff they got out these days. But that Bluetooth signal is easy to interrupt, and so it's not as consistent as a SpotOn when it comes to coming inside. But it's eminently customizable. I love the beacon, the idea that you could just take the dang thing anywhere and lay it anywhere you want in its functioning. Now, it's a little harder with a SpotOn because you actually have to get on the app, create your keep out zones, create your home zones, and you got to get them right, and you got to get them accurate. And it may take some trial and error to get it perfect, but you can do it. Now, in terms of price, generally speaking, the Halo sits anywhere between $569 and $599, while the SpotOn sits at around $999. There are constantly sales going on, spring sales, deals, coupon codes. We even offer some of those ourselves. But in general, you're looking at $569 to $599 for the Halo 3 and $999 for the SpotOn. However, when it comes to long-term cost, the SpotOn eventually outstrips the Halo because there's no subscription required for the SpotOn. And even if you do want to take the subscription for the SpotOn, which is solely for its tracking purposes, it's cheaper overall than the Halo subscription cost unless you stick with the bronze plan. So eventually the SpotOn will take the Halo, overtake the Halo. The Halo is definitely the cheaper option if that's what you're looking for, something more affordable. But in the long term, I think the SpotOn offers a lot more value for the money just because of all of its advanced features and its accuracy, coupled with the fact that you don't have to pay for a subscription, just to contain your dog, and it will eventually cost less than the Halo in terms of total cost. Now, with all of that being said, and I know I can get on some tangents about some things, my overall recommendation is easily the SpotOn. I think the SpotOn offers more value. It's got better GPS accuracy. It's got better overall performance. It's got more advanced features on it. It's got more boundary reliability on it. The advanced features that it offers are just, they just eclipse what the Halo has to offer. And then you throw in there the fact that Osprey came in and did that series of testing and showing that the SpotOn is not merely making the claim of being that accurate, it actually is that accurate. I think the SpotOn is absolutely the top smart collar on the market today. The Halo is a good option if you're looking for something affordable. You live on a smaller property, you can have a minimum invisible fence of between 30 feet and 30 feet, or 30 feet times 30 feet. So you can have a smaller area with the Halo and it's a little more affordable, but I just can't vouch for its overall accuracy in the short or the long term. Right now you can save $75 on the SpotOn GPS dog fence system using this exclusive coupon below. No need to worry about complicated steps, just enter the code at checkout and the discount will be applied automatically. It's that easy. Ready to get yours? Click the link below to grab your discounted collar before it's too late. Remember, this deal is only available for a limited time and could end at any moment. Don't let this $75 discount slip away. Act now to protect your dog and save big. Just click the link in the description to claim your deal. This offer won't last forever. All right, in short, both of these collars have their strengths, but if you're looking for a more reliable, flexible and accurate solution, then the SpotOn is definitely the smart collar that needs to be on your radar. The Halo is going to be good for, smaller properties and those looking for something a little more affordable, but don't mind the, inconsistency of an extra 15, 20 feet or so. I would remind everybody that if you want a serious in-depth review of each of these collars, to definitely go back and check out some of my videos. I got a lot of content on these collars. I've had them for a long time and I've used them for a long time. So I urge you to check those out if you want more detailed information on each of them. Appreciate everybody checking out the channel today. Hopefully what I've had to tell you today will help you choose the best collar, a smart collar for you and your dog. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button before I forget, and feel free to comment. Any questions or concerns you have, I always try to get on here and answer them to the best of my ability anyway. But again, thanks for watching and everybody have a fantastic week.